Welcome back to another deep history from Africa. In the heart of Africa, nestled between dense forests and sweeping savannas, stood a village bound by an ancient, unyielding tradition. Here, life was measured by the cries of newborn sons, for it was believed that only they could carry the legacy of the land forward. Daughters, in their eyes, were not a blessing but a curse, a sign of weakness, and so whenever a child was born, the village held its breath, listening. A boy's cry meant celebration. A girl's cry meant a grim, silent finality. The tradition was absolute, the law of the elders unshakable. For generations, this was the way, the rhythm of life and death dictated by a belief as old as the village itself. But one day, this ancient rhythm was shattered. A woman, her spirit as fierce as the sun, gave birth not to a son, but to a daughter. The news spread like a wildfire, extinguishing the joy and replacing it with fear. The council of elders convened, their faces grim masks of anger and apprehension. This child, this girl, was a threat to their entire world order. In their minds, she was an omen, a disruption to the sacred balance they had fought so hard to maintain. Their verdict was swift and brutal. The girl must not be allowed to live. The tradition demanded it. The village's survival, they believed, depended on it. But the mother's love was a force far greater than any tradition, far deeper than any fear. As darkness fell upon the village, cloaking it in shadows and secrets, she made a choice. She would not sacrifice her child to a rigid law. With her baby girl held tight against her chest, she fled. She ran into the vast, unforgiving wilderness, leaving behind everything she had ever known. Her home, her family, her people. She ran under the silent watch of the moon, her every step a rebellion against the world she was leaving behind, a promise to the new life she held in her arms. The village, confident in its power, assumed its decree had been fulfilled, that the wild had claimed what they had cast out. They believed the threat was gone, and their traditions were safe once more. Years passed. The village continued its old ways, oblivious to the secret that grew in the heart of the wild. But the story of the rejected daughter was far from over. She had not just survived. She had thrived. The wilderness that was meant to be her tomb had become her cradle. She grew tall and strong, her spirit forged in the solitude of the savanna and the mysteries of the forest. It was as if nature itself had chosen her. The earth seemed to hum in response to her footsteps. The winds learned to whisper her name, and the rivers flowed to the rhythm of her heart. She wasn't just a survivor. She was becoming a force of nature herself, wielding a power born from the very elements her people believed she would disrupt. Meanwhile, back in the village, the rigid traditions that were meant to ensure strength had instead sown the seeds of decay. Without the balance that new life in all its forms provides, the land grew tired. Famine stalked the fields, and the once strong community began to fray. The elders, who had once been united in their decree, were now consumed by bitter quarrels and power struggles. Their unity had crumbled into suspicion and discord. The village was withering from the inside out, weakened by its own inflexibility, starving for the very life it had once so cruelly rejected. The world they had built on a foundation of exclusion was beginning to collapse under its own weight. Then one day, as the sun cast long, weary shadows over the struggling village, a figure emerged from the edge of the wilderness. It was a woman, draped in mystery, and an aura of undeniable power. She stood at the gates, her presence commanding the attention of every villager. This was no helpless child, no forgotten memory. This was the daughter they had condemned, returned not as a victim but as a queen in her own right. Her eyes held the wisdom of the wild, and her posture spoke of a strength that no elder could challenge. She had come back to the place that had cast her out, not as a supplicant, but as a ruler. She didn't come seeking revenge. She didn't come to burn the village that had sentenced her to death. She came to heal it. She brought with her the knowledge of the earth, the secrets of the flowing rivers, and the wisdom of the patient winds. She showed the people how to coax life back into the barren soil, how to find harmony where there was only conflict. Her story transformed from a forbidden secret into a revered legend. The very elders who had ordered her end now whispered her name with reverence, a name that would be passed down through countless generations. Her tale became a powerful reminder etched into the heart of their culture. that true leadership is born not from conformity, but from courage, that destiny cannot be silenced by fear, and that sometimes the greatest rulers are the ones who were first cast out. And so, the village learned its most important lesson, not from an ancient law, but from the queen who dared to live. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold with us. If you were moved by this tale of strength and destiny, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that challenge the world as we know it. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious,